Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r// Tales from Tech Support. In today's episode, the Wi-Fi is frozen. The difference between 5 and 2. All the phones. Technology is magic. Told in 2 tales. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. The Wi-Fi is frozen. So I worked retail tech support for a number of years. Couple cliff notes to start: nothing is done to code, nothing is standardized, everything is cheapest bidder, yet they demand high uptimes and urgent responses on anything sales related. It's a blend of high stress, being blamed by the managers because you can't fix something that isn't your fault, and low pay. Glad I got out of it, but it had its moments. There's a company in the US that sells a lot of things and has a lot of stores. It's probably the one you're thinking of. If you're thinking of another one, don't worry, I fixed their stuff too. This is how I learned nothing is more expensive than cutting costs. Firstly, stores need PDT guns. What are they? Portable inventory scanners. They make doing inventory a lot easier. Good PDT guns have a bit of storage space on them so they can remember how much stuff costs and keep track of what they scan to upload later. Cheap ones just sit on the Wi-Fi and talk to a server in the back that remembers all that for them. They don't work if they're not on Wi-Fi. Well, this franchise didn't want to buy good PDT guns, they wanted cheap ones. Well, that means every square inch of the building absolutely requires reasonable Wi-Fi service, including the walk-in fridges and freezers for the deli and backstock. I told them, drill a hole in the top of the freezer. Stick an antenna in the hole. Connect the antenna to the Wi-Fi making box, called a WAP or AP, wireless access point. All you need to know is it makes Wi-Fi. Under no circumstances should the WAP be mounted inside the freezer. Well, they went with the cheapest bidder for the install. What did they do? Drill a hole in the freezer, stick a pipe through the hole, put a waterproof box at the end of the pipe, and mount the AP inside the box, inside the freezer. So now, they have mess signal at best through the box. Oh well. The fun part was when hot humid air went down the pipe, into the waterproof box, inside the freezer. Moisture condensed at the top, and fell to the bottom where it froze. Eventually I turn up to fix it. What do I find? Whopsicle. While I stand there in awe, taking a few pictures for posterity, I call into my support line. Hey, it's __________ on work order ________________________________. Do we have a trouble code for a frozen WAP? Sure we do, but you should just be able to unplug it and plug it back in to reset it. No. The other kind of frozen. Caveman frozen. Popsicle frozen. It's encased in a cube of ice like a cartoon. I'm dealing with Looney Tunes problems here. Oh. No, we don't have a code for that. We should though. What do you mean, we should have a code for that? Third one this week. I sputter into a fresh bout of laughter and he joins me. I send him the pictures, we laugh even harder. It's great. The workers can see the hilarity of the situation as I point to the literal cube of ice. Epilogue: I go home, wait for them to decide how they want me to proceed. They send me back, I chisel it out with a flathead screwdriver, re-terminate the uplink cable, connect a new one, confirm it works, then plug the conduit pipe with silicon putty. Lasted about 2 years before I had to replace it again. They stopped installing WAPs like this and eventually took my advice, using antennas instead. However, they didn't mount the WAP on the top. They mounted it on the front, above the door. Here's the issue with that. If a freezer is humid, it'll build up ice on all surfaces, and eventually just be one giant ice cube inside. You need to vent that moisture out. Guess where the moisture vent is? It's on the front. Right beside the new WAP location. They have a life expectancy of about a month now, because they sit next to a literal steam vent 24/7. All because they refuse to not take shortcuts to try and save money. Do it right, or do it twice. The difference between 5 and 2. Oh boy, have I got a marvel for you guys this time. Today's story involves two tech-savvy nerds, myself, M, and my friend, F. But first, a little backstory. Me and my friend went to college together. We both are DevOps engineers, and as you do after you graduate, we both went our separate ways. But M went on to start a MSP and F went on to work for some company. F rents some servers from M. We rarely speak at all these days, and when we do it's mostly server related. This starts just 4 hours before I write this on Reddit. I get a random series of texts. Read what happened below. F. Hey M, quick question. When I try to SSH into my VPS on xxx.xxx.225.xxx I get an error. F. Sends screenshot of error /. F. When I look from the KVM console, I see that SSH is running, and the port is open, and when I try to ping xxx.xxx.225.xxx it also doesn't respond. Yes you in the chair, you can see where this is going now, right? Well, we couldn't, so enjoy your laugh at our expense. In the meantime I've fired up the work PC and checked network connectivity. As a quick side note, I was doing some maintenance on some other service at the time and my first thought was that somehow that maintenance caused his issue. It couldn't have, but that's where my mind was at. M. Hey, I can reach your VPS at xxx.xxx.225.xxx just fine, but at the moment, I can't seem to reach port XXX. F. Well, that's weird. M. HTTP and HTTPS seem to work as intended. F. I restarted the SSH daemon multiple times, yet I can't reach port XXX. M. I just checked the network stack. I don't see any sign of a blockage on port XXX for your IP. F. Sends screenshot / when I ping the VPS I get timeouts. M. Sends screenshots of pings from multiple locations / well all seems fine from my end. F. Just try to traceroute, it times out big time. M. SSH seems to be working for me now, from both home and the VPN. F. Strange, I assume this is something between me and the VPS then. M. Yeah, probably, give it some time, keep me posted. And for a good 2 or so hours we leave it at this. I start monitoring the service whilst I finish up my maintenance, play a quick game, and then shut off the PC for the night. Then I get another message. F. Cloudflare also times out when it tries to connect. My 4G cellular connection also can't connect. I think the problem isn't at the ISP. M. When walking back to the desk, alright, I'll have a look, hang on. M. All seems fine from my end. Even the monitoring software seems to be able to connect to your SSH from 6 different locations. M. Sends link of monitoring software report /. F. Sends screenshot / the ping tool on your website also times out, and the traceroute tool also doesn't look good. A quick side note, when in college together I built a portfolio site with some useful tools, ping tool, port scanner, traceroute, you know, the works. I mostly forget about that these days, but he remembered it and used it to test for his issue. Now the failure to connect for those tools is weird, because they are run from inside the same subnet as IP xxx.xxx.225.xxx, and should always be able to connect, certainly if the outside world can. At this point I start to catch on to what's going on. Anyhow, on with the story. It's close to finished, I promise. M. Also runs those same tools and gets expected working results. M. Sends screenshots of working results / for me, they work just fine. At this point this has been going on for 3 hours, neither of us have seen the so blatant yet sneaky mistake literally sent in about a dozen screenshots. M at this point scratching his head so hard he starts to bald. Wait a minute. M 255. M XXX.XXX.225.XXX equals good. M XXX.XXX.255.XXX equals bad. At this point I facepalm so hard, I think it can be felt on the other side of the street. I also go flat out on the ground, amused with the ignorance to detail we both showed, and the blatant disregard for basic troubleshooting procedures. We are both techies, so why would I bother doing the basics? I just assumed he did those already. F. Wait, really? I've read over that 1,000 times. F. Is that it? I've had 255 in my head the whole time. This also explains why Cloudflare wouldn't work. M. I also just noticed /facepalm. F. This explains so much. And that, my friends, is why you never skip basic troubleshooting, not even when helping a fellow techie. Pay attention to the details, even when working late and providing informal support. Never assume the user is using the right information, even if they literally gave you the right information at the beginning of the support process. Copy-paste your dang IP addresses instead of type them out. All the phones. My career started doing telephone install/troubleshooting as a young airman in the USAF, and this is a story from those days about 17 years ago. I had been doing the work for about 2 years at this point, and had found I had a knack and love for telephony. The stage was that we were removing old key system PBXs and replacing them with single-line concept. At one location in a room that only measured about 20 feet by 15 foot, I had actually installed 11 M5008 phones in a desk setup that actually wrapped around the room with a wide open area facing everyone's back. The plan I had drawn up had each person having their own primary line with the multiple shop lines set up as the secondary keys on each phone, as that was the main requirement. The biggest issue I could foresee is that for the ringing of these additional lines on every phone would cause a lot of noise if they all went off at the same time. To thwart this, I went to the TSGT in charge of the shop with a few plans he could choose from, such as installing an external ringer for those lines to ring to. The result of that is recreated below fairly accurately, because it stands out pretty fresh in my mind even to this day. Me, sir, I wanted to talk to you about a few of the options for the ringing of your shop lines. If you could give me which of them you prefer, I can have you guys all finished in about an hour. TSGT, I want all the phones to ring. Me, you want all of the phones to ring for every line on every call? Just to advise you, sir, that will get pretty loud in this small a space, especially with the positioning and lack of carpeted flooring in the office. TSGT, tell you what, A1C, I'll flip you for it, and whoever wins we will go with that method, eh? Me, okay sir, your call. I finished the programming exactly as he had requested it. Did a few tests to verify that everything was working as planned. There was a little satisfaction when I noticed the other members who worked in the office looking around a bit uncomfortably at the sheer noise involved with them receiving a single call. He of course called back to the shop a few days after I had finished to complain how the lowly airman had screwed up the whole install and for someone else to please come out and fix the mistakes. I had told my boss already what had happened, so he got a good laugh when he got that call. Technology is magic. Told in two tales. So I worked as frontline at support for several years while going to school online. I finished my bachelor's degree early this year, and my boss is the department head for the IT team of 2 large industrial plants. He knew me and liked me and my work ethic, so when a promotion opened up at the other plant, I was pretty much assured the position. The other plant is much smaller and much of the team works at my old plant, only going to the small plant when required, so much of the time I am the only IT person on site, where I act as pretty much a network admin. I say pretty much because as the only person on site, I am often the first call on any IT issue. As an aside, these are industrial plants in small towns in the south. Not the most advanced of communities when it comes to tech. Also, I am doing this from my phone, so apologies for any mistakes. Below are 2 stories of my short experience in this new position. Story 1. Well, now this app won't work. During the pandemic, our company instituted a screening procedure for anyone coming into the plant. Temp is taken, and you are asked several questions by a screener. As a salaried employee, it is expected of me to volunteer for 1 or 2 screening shifts a month. My first ever time doing it, I was paired with another employee that wasn't known for being a people person. We'll call him Bob. Goes alright for a little bit, but between people coming in, Bob notices his Facebook app on his phone won't work. He immediately asks me what's wrong. I have troubleshot systems for much of my adult life as a career. First thing to do, rule out the easy stuff. I see his phone is on the plant Wi-Fi. Much of the plant gets poor service due to the thick walls, lots of metal, like a big old Faraday cage. So we connect to Wi-Fi, so I ask him to see if it's just the Wi-Fi. We are at the front door, so it should get signal. Don't you think I tried that? He grumbles loudly. I'm standing, while social distancing, close enough, and he most certainly didn't try, but whatever. I pull out my phone and mine is working fine and is connected to Wi-Fi. So this tells me it's either something to do with his phone or his account that lets him connect to the company Wi-Fi. Both of which I have zero control over. I don't work with the service desk to control accounts, and I don't work at Apple. He gets annoyed with me. But again, whatever. The best part is every few minutes he checks a different app, and the following interaction occurs ad nauseum. Bob, well, now, insert app name, isn't working. Me, well, it seems your internet connection isn't working, so that app probably won't work. Bob, well, isn't there anything your useless department can do? Me, if you tried to connect off of the Wi-Fi, then it is likely your phone. I don't work at Apple. About 18 times we had this conversation. Turns out, Apple released an update that our firewall didn't like, and you just had to go back in and re-authenticate the device for the Wi-Fi to work again. He tried it using mobile data though, right? Story 2. Well, we just need a smarter IT department. This situation has been going on for about a month, finally resolved about a week ago. There is a woman that works in our HR department who will be retiring soon. As she is training her replacement, I get a call from a friend saying she needs help getting her replacement access to a database she uses for posting jobs for people to apply to the company. Just a database where she stores all the job info. My friend, not in IT, showed her how to put the database shortcut on the replacement's, rep for short, laptop, but it wouldn't let her in. Not a hard call, I think, but I'll go down and talk to her and make sure that's the case. Gotta be wary of taking people's word. Especially when it comes to confidential company databases. I go and talk to them, HR explains the situation again, everything looks in order, so I add the rep to the database's approved users list and ask her to try again. Nothing. No access. Odd, I think. So I do some investigation and then realize something. As explained above, this smaller plant and my old plant share a great deal of resources. This includes the HR department. This causes confusion a lot, and I realize some of this is stupid, but I'm new, so I can't fix it all. HR had used to work at the other plant and just kept using their HR database instead of our plants when she moved. So I give her the options. She can use our site's database. HR, I'm not doing that. I have 25 years of work on that database. Just give her access to that one. Me, I understand the inconvenience, but that isn't our database. I have no control over it as I am at this site, not that one. We go back and forth, and finally I cut in with the other option. Me, honestly, I don't care one way or the other which one you use. If you want rep to have access, you'll have to contact X at the other plant and he'll get you access. I leave, and a few days later I get a message asking if I have gotten rep access yet. I go through again that I can't. Again a few days later. And a few days after that. 4 weeks. Explaining again every time that I can't. Finally I say screw it, give me rep's employee ID, what X will need it to give her access, and I don't remember it at this point. I'll just contact him to get her to leave me alone. Nothing back. A few days later, another message asking if I have gotten her access. At this point I'm trying not to lose it. I just take some screenshots to cover myself and begin ignoring her. You can take a horse to water and all that. Fast forward a few weeks and apparently she finally contacted the other plant. My friend calls me up one day laughing saying he caught her telling everyone that we just need a smarter IT department. I don't think they know what they are doing. That was earlier today. I am a little angry.